The episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be recapping the Vanderpump Villa Season 2 reunion. We had all 10 episodes drop at once with a wild, eventful, and chaotic second season of Lisa Vanderpump's Vanderpump Villa on Hulu. All 10 episodes dropped at once. And then, of course, the south of France was never the same again, especially because we brought in familiar Vanderpump face Stassi into the mix to kind of start to overview and watch the individuals. And fun thing about this reunion, Stassi is also the one that hosted this reunion. We had a little bit of a different reunion host this time, and Stassi was in charge of that. And I felt like overall she did a pretty good job of reeling things in. However, I will say this. This was chopped. This was chopped interestingly enough because to me there was very much sequences where I felt like we could have dove deeper into scenarios and it was like chop, chop, chop. But I'm hoping in the near future that we can have some guest from Vanderpump Villa right here on the Love and Reality podcast. I would love to chat with many individuals. At the top of my list, obviously, Hannah Marciano, two people that I think are reality TV gold that should be on our TVs more and more. But that being said, we're going to go over some of the cliff notes, some of the big moments. We started off with Andre and Andre's quote unquote romance with Bridget. We get some behind the scenes footage of Andre said they had a mutual attraction. We even had Andre doing a cheer, doing a B, give me an R, give me an I, give me a D, give me a G, give me an E, give me a T. Obviously, Bridget's time on the show was short lived, but we also get some, a little behind the scenes footage of Andre um, saying that I am gaslighting and said I will always choose you to Gabriella. And this to me, if you could have saw the looks to kill, Andre would have been dead because Gabriella was flabbergasted by this. Poor Andre took some on the chin very early on in this. Apparently, Gabriella is currently dating someone. She said that they love one another. And Marciano, my dude, goes, that was quick. But yeah, Dominic and Grace are the next people we're going to talk about. They said they didn't get freaky. And he said, you snuck into my bed twice. He said he didn't. There's a lot of people there was like a lot of combatness here, right? Grace said she let her guard down and Dom smashed it. Dom got roasted by literally everybody. Everybody on the cast had Grace's side, and rightfully so. Grace is such a good person, and I feel like she's good. TJ and Grace were smitten by one another. He said she was gorgeous. When Stassi asked him why he went there. He said he was drunk. They kept on interrupting. I will give TJ a little bit of grace here. Every time TJ was trying to finish a sentence, the first word he would say was like interrupted by, the start of every sentence wasn't great by him. By any stretch of the imaginations, it was not great. However, they did not give this man enough time to quote unquote get his conversation started. But he said, he finally got to finish the sentence. He was drunk, but he acted on something he wouldn't have had the courage to do sober. Um, Apparently, when they left the villa there, he was kind of let her know about another girl he was getting to know on another level. So there's nothing really going on between those two. Grace announced that she has an LLC, Graceful Maid Service. Good for her. She owns her own cleaning business, which is awesome for her. Congratulations to her about that. Lexi and Tyler, these two were coupled up, lots of jealousy because of Cher. Lexi apologized to Cher for how she talked to her and acted towards her, which was really awesome. There's not a lot of accountability sometimes on these reality TV shows because Cher said, hey, look, if I wasn't drunk, she didn't say this. She didn't say this, but I'm pretty positive she innuended the fact that she probably would have beat her ass. And you know what? That would have made great reality TV. But she did apologize. She did appreciate the apology. Lexi and Tyler kept in contact. Tyler said he had a photo shoot with the Mormon wives. And then after that, they didn't talk much after. Sam and Alyssa, they kept in touch on a neutral relationship, saw each other outside the place. Alyssa breaks down, saying he never checked in on her. This was whatever. Hannah and Sam, apparently there was a rumor that there was some mutual attraction, but this is shut down. They have talked since leaving the castle, but they are just friends. Bridget is brought up. Bridget, for somebody that was on the show for like 30 seconds, was on the reunion quite a bit. She was featured a lot, got a lot of conversational time. She was on the first episode and fired like 3 minutes into episode 2. And I do think it's because I would fully expect her, especially after watching the reunion, I would have fully expect her to make a return if there is a season 3 of Vanderpump Villa, which I really hope there is because this show is pretty solid. Bridget said she let everyone down. She apologized to Chef Anthony. Lisa asked if she'd come back, and Bridget would have to work her way up. And she said yes. Anthony said it was all about her attitude, which we can all agree on. And then, of course, the topic of conversation went from that to Bridget and Marciano. Would they have hooked up? He said no, that Hannah was pushing that. Hannah and Marciano exchanged some bickerment of words. And then we see probably my favorite moment of the entire reunion. We have Bridget and Hannah just exchange barbs, go back and forth, yelling at each other. Bridget calls her out, says she's intimidated by her. She called her insecure. This gets heated. My thing was this: it gets cut off. And I feel like I understand an element of like why you're cutting it off because it was getting pretty heated. But I feel like you have to allow these girls to kind of say what they mean, say with their chest, have those conversations. Let's iron it out on this big stage and let them have that conversation. Instead, we cut it off. We go to, like a break, I guess you could say. And then Aiden time. If you're sharing carrots, you're sharing love. Everyone making fun of him taking breaks. Aiden said he usually only serves vibes. Stassi calls him out for only wanting to be on a reality TV show, which is basically what we all assumed when watching this guy. Like he literally brought nothing to the table, but like vibes. Let's see here. Mix and mingling with the cast is then brought up. Marciano and Faith hung out in Vegas a little bit. They asked if they hooked up. He said he's shy, won't say anything at all. And then of course Aiden and Paulie. Everybody remembers that whole situation. He said he did hit him up, and Paulie ghosted him. Lisa, and then of course, like the whole Eiffel Tower thing's brought up, and Lisa explains that to Stassi, which was hilarious because I mean, just think about that, guys. Stassi brought out Paulie. These two shared a kiss of all kisses on this reunion. That to me, I didn't see it coming. He said, "You want to kiss?" Boom, and they shared a kiss on the screen. He wrote him a little note. So then apparently Marciano made a spectacle at Lisa's opening, and Chef Anthony brought up that he got disrespectful to him and his girlfriend. He said he was ready to punch himself. Anthony said he was ready to punch him himself. However, it was at Lisa's opening and he kept his cool. And then apparently Marciano went into detail about what he wanted to do to Lisa sexually, which Lisa said at the time, she's like, I'm too tired or something like that along those lines to even think about doing something like that, which was hilarious. Marciano just said he was kind of to the point, so drunk that he didn't remember any of that, which is just wow, Marciano. And then, of course, we get a little bit of tea, a little bit, not a lot. Marciano and Demi, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Marciano is put on the hot seat. He thought she was very beautiful and they were attracted to one another. They had a 2-hour conversation. He said he wouldn't have done it there. And then everyone was pushing him back and forth about, oh my God, how dare you? Would you sleep with a married woman? How would you feel if that was your person? Blah, 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 blah. Look, why are we putting it on just him? It takes two to tango. Okay. She's the married one. Okay. I'm not saying it's right necessarily, but she's the married one. She's fiddling here in this cookie jar, knows what she's doing. And yeah, it doesn't make him right, but it doesn't necessarily make he's the one not in the relationship here. The rumor had came out that they hooked up at Tom Tom, one of the restaurants, which was hilarious because Stassi was saying something about it, but Lisa cut her off talking about her hooking up. her hooking up with people in her restaurants, which was hilarious. I mean, we all know those. We all know those scenarios, folks. He said they had a strong attraction and led to some things outside of the place. When asked, he said it, and then he said it wasn't just Demi. He said Demi wasn't the only person he was interested in, and apparently this is going to play off. Not then. He wasn't going to say anything then because apparently it's going to play out on season 2 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So that should be interesting. We got a little two to tango here on how that unfolds. Ciara and Sienna, apparently he has moved out of the country and unable to attend the reunion. Everyone kind of calls him out for everyone called him out for fooling her over and over again. She kept running back. She said, I cried more on the show than ever before. This was they asked Hannah and Marciano if they're watching it back, if they have any regrets about them leaving the show. Of course, we know that Marciano and Hannah were kind of kicked out because of the whole Sienna and Ciara situation. And Marciano said Lisa did him a favor by being fired because he probably would have knocked him out. Boom. Boom. Would have paid to see that instead. We get a staff interview with Ciara with his British accent, which was funny as hell. That it changed. Who cares about those two? He was a dick. I'm glad Sienna's moving on with her life now. Let's see here. Stassi's now in the hot seat. She says she knows less Italian now before she left. She's nowhere near close to her citizenship, which was funny. She gave Bo her blessing to get a job. She said her and Bo and had the birthday party fight. It was not much of anything. Lisa kind of pushes her a little bit here and there. Lisa said she knows. She said she knows. She wants to know who they think outside of Gabrielle they would like to bring back for another season. Chef Anthony brought up Hannah because she was trying to work on herself. A few other people bring up Hannah. Marciano says the same. She said she deserves a second chance. Aiden says Bridget. Andre says Ashley. I think obviously if you're going to bring one back, you probably don't bring the other back. So obviously Hannah would be the more logical person to bring back here. But I hope we get Marciano on another reality show at some point because the guy's money on TV. They asked Chef Anthony about the money. Did he use it to propose? Apparently he had some family issues. He's been trying to go to, since she's watched the show, he's been trying to figure out a way to surprise her, and he's going to propose to her at some point. The episode ends with the only way that it should have ended, Marciano taking off his shirt and beginning to DJ. Why we didn't get enough of this? Why didn't we get more of this? I do not know. Folks, what did you guys think of the Vanderpump Villa season 2 reunion? Are you with me in saying I really feel like this was like a light version of what we could have seen? Because to me, this was like PG-13. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have really gotten something raw and raunchy and like, give me facts, give me tea, give me yelling, give me screaming. But I always feel like they raise the bar with the trailers of being like, this is what the reunion is going to be. And on the flip side, we get a little taste of it. And it's only just a light appetite. You know what I mean? It's a little appetizer. We never get the full course. We never get the full 3 courses and maybe a little bit of dessert. But we're never filled up at the end of any of these reunions. But that being said, what do you guys think of season 2 of Vanderpump Villa? Vanderpump Villa. Who would you like to see on season 3 if there is a season 3? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Love and Reality Podcast. I will talk to you guys soon.